Today I'm going to be showing you one of my favourite low-carb recipes, my chocolate fudge gummies. These are the perfect sugar-free, low-carb sweet treat or dessert. And because they are filled with heaps of protein and healthy fats, they're also really satisfying. So to make our gummies, firstly we're going to need 4 tablespoons of gelatin. Now it's the gelatin that's going to gel all our other ingredients together, creating our gummies. Gelatin is great for bone health, skin health, and gut health, as well as being filled with protein. So it's an excellent ingredient for us to include in this snack. So it's important for us to note that because gelatin is made from the bones and hides of cattle, this recipe is not suitable for vegetarians. I recommend you purchase a good quality gelatin made from grass-fed cattle from a quality supplier, not from the baking aisle of the supermarket. So we're going to be mixing our gelatin with 100 grams of coconut milk. Now we're using coconut milk today to keep this recipe dairy-free, but you could use cow's milk. It's really important to mix the gelatin with the coconut milk before we add it to the Thermomix, as this blooms the gelatin, allowing it to dissolve, giving us a velvety smooth chocolate finish. So we're simply going to set this aside while we move on to the next step. So in our Thermomix, we're going to add the remaining 300 grams of coconut milk. The next ingredient we're going to add is 80 grams of xylitol. Now this is a low-carb natural sweetener, not to be confused with an artificial sweetener. This is going to allow us to create this sweet dessert without sugar. So for our last ingredient, we're going to use 60 grams of Dutch cocoa. Now this is going to give the chocolatey finish to our fudge gummies. Make sure it's unsweetened, you don't want any added sugar in your cocoa, and you can use raw cacao instead. So we are simply going to heat that now for 4 minutes, 70 degrees, speed 3. At this point, it's really important for us to check that our Thermomix ingredients have actually reached 70 degrees. 70 degrees is really important to continue dissolving our gelatin. If your Thermomix hasn't reached 70 degrees in that time, simply heat it for another 1 minute, 70 degrees, speed 3. So now is time for us to add our gelatin. As you can see, it has bloomed nicely and it's actually gone almost rock hard. This is what we want. I promise you that's going to mix through beautifully by your Thermomix. I would not want to be mixing this with a whisk in by hand. And now we simply mix that for 20 seconds, speed 4. So now our chocolate mixture is ready to be poured into our molds. Here I've got my silicone bar molds. These are going to give us larger chocolate bars. And I've also got some smaller silicone molds which are going to give us individual chocolate treats. I recommend here using soft silicone chocolate molds rather than firmer plastic molds, as the softer material is going to make these so much easier to pop out at the end. If you don't have any of these smaller molds, don't worry at all. Pour the entire mixture into a large plastic container and simply cut into fudge cubes once set. It's really important to put your molds on a tray before pouring them. This is going to make it so much easier to transport to the fridge. Now our molds are ready to go in the fridge for about an hour or until the gummies are set. These have now set and we're going to pop them out of their molds. Simply pull the silicone back and pop the chocolate out. They look pretty delicious, don't they?